Here's one of our favorite jerks turning on the waterworks.
You're always about lifting up everybody around you.
Yeah,
everybody.
of course.
Why is that?
You have to. You have to lift people up.
Do you think our democracy is at risk in this election?
I think that it is. I always keep saying democracy is great, of course, but democracy people take for granted. It's a word that some people don't even understand. They take it for granted. It's about right and wrong.
You know, it's been a strange week in America. One moment Greg Gutfeld seems to be playing detective, and the next Robert De Niro suddenly has a talent for disappearing acts. One minute a Hollywood legend is roaring on camera, the next he's quieter than a Wi-Fi signal during a thunderstorm. So what exactly was revealed? And why does it feel like late-night TV may have just stumbled onto something bigger than a simple punchline? Buckle up, because this story starts moving fast.
Last night, an elderly, confused man went missing in New York. Luckily, a band of self-satisfied elitists found him babbling on the street, threw some pants on him, gave him a stage.
Oh my God.
I'm going to say one thing.
The guy's a monster. He is beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can think of in order to get a rise out of us. I don't know what it is, but he's been doing it, and it's...
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you might think. What many people first thought was just another celebrity argument slowly turned into something else. Now it feels more like a Hollywood game of cat and mouse, with one of the biggest names in film suddenly acting like he forgot his lines.
Lawrence O'Donnell's 5 years younger than Trump. And Rachel Maddow's been dressing the same for 20 years, like Wally Cleaver. The same clothes. And the star of Dirty Grandpa, Robert De Niro, getting censored by The View after raging like a bull who saw a red MAGA hat.
And they might think that it's going to make their life better, or they just want to, excuse my French.
Robert De Niro built his career on raw intensity, strong emotion, and a fearless habit of saying exactly what was on his mind. But when the spotlight shifted and real questions started coming his way, that powerful voice suddenly seemed to grow quiet, almost like it slowly faded into the background.
Nothing I like more on a Sunday than some old guy spewing F-bombs.
This guy should not be president, period.
And when you say that, folks on Fox come after you. I remember the Tonys when you got up there and cursed. A lot of of you. Okay, well, you know, this is cable, so it's not an FCC violation, but it is still a Sunday morning.
That was Bobby De Niro promoting his new movie, Grumpy Old Man 7, More Strained Peas. Actually, he was triggered by our nation's hall monitor.
What changed between the bold confidence on camera and the silence we're seeing now? And how did Greg Gutfeld, a man many people think of as just a comedian with a show, end up right in the middle of something that suddenly feels bigger than normal talk show chatter?
You have to bring them together. Period. You can't divide people. You can't win that way. It's a no-win situation. And look what we have. Look who we have there. It's almost like a destiny to have this thing there, attempting to destroy this country.
Robert De Niro built a reputation as a fearless voice. For decades, his performances became cultural landmarks, and off-screen, he was never quiet or easy to ignore. He didn't just share opinions, he seemed to carve them in stone. From politics to pop culture, there was hardly a topic he wouldn't tackle with a boldness that made headlines, and those headlines fueled news cycles. Fans assumed that if De Niro said something controversial, he meant it with the same intensity he brought to his roles. But now, that assumption is being questioned in ways few saw coming. Enter Greg Gutfeld, a host known for sharp commentary, fearless takes, and a knack for turning critique into something precise, probing, and relentless, hitting a nerve no one expected to be so sensitive. Tension grew when Gutfeld began connecting dots in De Niro's recent remarks and his sudden retreat from the public eye. People quickly noticed the difference when scattered rumors started forming a clear pattern.
The host acts dumb, not a stretch, as if he didn't see this coming from a guy who talks like a one-man Navy.
This idiot is the president. The guy is a fool. Our government today, with the prompting of our baby in chief, has in chief, I call him.
That's some reliable source you got there. This is what moms call bad language, or what producers call great TV.
Where once Robert De Niro would step on stage and speak with confidence, he now seemed to shy away from any place where questions could be asked, answers expected, or stories challenged. At first, the change was subtle, but once the pattern appeared, it was impossible to miss. Greg Gutfeld didn't start out attacking. His approach was curious and probing. Instead of mocking De Niro directly, he questioned the consistency and honesty of the actor's recent words. What exactly had De Niro said that made him seem unwilling to stand by it? And why did Gutfeld's questions feel so sharp that the response wasn't a rebuttal, it was a retreat? As people tracked De Niro's public presence, the absence became obvious. Not just fewer TV appearances or social media posts, but a clear, deliberate pattern of avoiding anyone digging past the surface.
See, I find that he's smartest when they drop his audio. But, you know, it's kind of sad because you can see, like, people who are stuck in some kind of, I don't know, derangement, they can't see it themselves. And they're not surrounded by people telling them that they have a problem. And they lack self-awareness because everybody either tells them they're wonderful or wants to sell them cocaine. So he has no clue what he's doing. And he's upset over the emotional nature. His anger is emotional.
Controversies in Hollywood aren't new, and it's not unusual for celebrities to dodge tough questions. But there's a big difference between picking your media appearances and disappearing completely when direct, sharp questions come up. That difference created a real cultural moment, because this vanishing act didn't feel like the usual PR strategy of staying quiet. Instead of careful media control, it felt like avoidance driven by discomfort, and that discomfort seemed tied to real consequences. Greg Gutfeld didn't let it slide. He dug deeper and laid out the situation clearly. Here's a man with one of the most recognizable voices in entertainment, now seemingly unable to address the very points he had once loudly championed. Social media chatter exploded, with comments and reactions piling up faster than typical entertainment news. Some critics argued that Gutfeld was just chasing a spectacle, amid a ratings-fueled clash of personalities. But as he kept going, his questions became sharper and more precise, focusing on substance rather than provocation.
De Niro cried like that was when he got a lap dance from a white woman.
They're bony.
Sherrod.
Yes.
What happened to De Niro? That was the Cape Fear guy.
No, that was De Niro. That was like De Niro when they killed the Joe Pesci character in Goodfellas.
Yes.
It's like he's going nothing nobody can do. What do you mean he's good?
Well, no, I'm not going to watch it.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, he's an older guy. Old men cry.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a book by Judy Blume or somebody?
He wasn't just joking about De Niro's disappearance. He was pointing out contradictions and asking for real answers. That made it harder to brush off as just another celebrity spat. Behind the scenes, the buzz only grew. Industry insiders started suggesting that Robert De Niro's absence wasn't accidental. It looked like a calculated retreat. Step back and think about what drives someone to suddenly pull back from the public, especially after bold statements. People don't vanish because everything is fine. They pull back when they sense risk. And that risk can take many forms: reputational, emotional, or strategic. They're a bigger lesson in how public figures handle pressure. Some speak confidently, but audiences can tell when the performance drops once the lights go down. The debate split fans and critics. Some defended De Niro's right to pick when he speaks, saying he doesn't owe anyone explanations. That's fair, but it doesn't explain why he disappeared so suddenly. When inconsistency is paired with avoidance, people naturally start asking, was this just bad media strategy? Or was there something deeper driving the retreat?
Rational figure at peak derangement and Godiment is snapping. It's like cabaret for the chronically obsessed. It's like when you were a kid and would pull wheelies on Old Man Johnson's front yard. Finally, he just cracks. He's holding a spatula, chasing you around in his open robe. That's the De Niro CNN business model in a nutshell. Money for nothing and clicks for free. Of course, the real story is how accusations of Trump's nutty behavior always ends up with the accusers.
Greg Gutfeld's commentary tapped into that natural curiosity. And once the audience noticed the contradictions, they couldn't ignore them. The story spread faster than usual celebrity gossip, because this wasn't just entertainment. It was about reputation, authenticity, and accountability in a culture that thrives on spectacle and scrutiny. People are drawn to mysteries, especially when they involve icons who have long seemed untouchable. Once that image cracks, interest only grows. The irony is striking. De Niro, who built his career playing characters facing danger with steely determination, now became the mirror of that tension in real life. Television history has shown that some thrive on controversy, as long as it stays performative and entertaining. But when controversy calls for real accountability, even the boldest voices show cracks. Gutfeld didn't create a scandal. He simply asked the questions that mattered, and in doing so, he revealed an unexpected response: retreat.
Nothing practical.
Right. And remember, he is the most boring interview. He used to sell his movies on Leno and Letterman, and it was like watching a WNBA game. You just were bored to death. And then all of a sudden, Trump became president, and he started saying things, I want to punch the president in the face. You know, he's a crooked piece of... And then all of a sudden, De Niro became interesting during his media tours. And that's the only way now he can get publicity for his film.
That retreat tells its own story because how someone reacts when they don't have answers often reveals more than what they say when they do. The public response to De Niro's quieter presence hasn't been the same across the board. Some defend it, saying silence can be strategic. It protects dignity and prevents things from escalating unnecessarily. Silence can be powerful when used intentionally, but there's a big difference between purposeful silence and avoidance driven by fear of contradiction. When it feels reactive or opportunistic, people read it as uncertainty, not strength. That's when the story deepens. Audiences began questioning not just what De Niro said, but what he didn't. They wondered about private conversations, behind-the-scenes decisions, and how someone so used to speaking boldly could suddenly seem hesitant. When a simple change like that shifts a story from comedy to real cultural curiosity, it becomes fascinating rather than fleeting. Viewers don't just want to see what happens next, they want to understand why. That's when content moves from entertainment to a narrative people feel they must follow. This is the kind of moment where audiences lean in instead of scrolling past, where questions outnumber assumptions, and the uncertainty of the next move is what keeps everyone hooked.
I don't know about you, but I think it's a testament to Trump that he made De Niro cry. I mean, that's kind of an honor, like to say I made Robert De Niro cry.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Is he a crier or not? Because if he's not a crier and imagine he's not a crier and he just cries over this. If I were his wife, I would be so pissed.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just had a baby. Imagine he does not cry when the baby is...
The surprising twist isn't just that Robert De Niro went quiet, it's that his silence ended up speaking louder than any statement he's ever made. His absence became part of the conversation, and that shift is exactly what turned a simple commentary moment into a full-blown cultural curiosity. It's a reminder that in public life, not showing up can say more than words, especially when expectations are high and accountability is overdue. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear: audiences aren't just waiting for the next tweet, interview, or soundbite. They want meaning. They want context. They want answers that go deeper than platitudes or catchy lines. How someone responds when asked to defend their words earns respect. Words without accountability are just noise. And when a person known for bold statements suddenly avoids defending them, people naturally ask why. Greg Gutfeld didn't create this moment. He simply pointed it out with sharp observation and gave the audience a chance to see what was already there.
Niro calls Trump crazy as he goes crazier. Adam Schiff calls Trump a liar as he makes up quotes. Dems talk about undermining institutions as they try to undermine an election. But when asked for reasons why Trump shouldn't be president, all Bobby had were sputtering F-bombs. His resistance had run out of script. It was just another role without dialogue, so he had to improvise. But I handed to CNN, it got me to watch, and by having it on the 5, it quadrupled their audience. Congrats to Stelter and CNN for that 1 minute. Yeah.
So, as we watch the ripple effects of this unexpected twist, the question isn't just where Robert De Niro has gone, it's where the story goes next. Will there be a public response? Will explanations finally come? Or will the silence keep speaking louder than any statement ever could? How this plays out will decide whether this becomes just another celebrity footnote or a defining moment in how public figures handle challenge, contradiction, and accountability. The tension isn't only on screens or in headlines. It's alive in every conversation, every social media thread, and every late-night segment where the same question keeps coming up. Why did Robert De Niro pull back, and what does it say about him now? What started as simple celebrity commentary has grown into a lesson on perception versus reality, confidence versus performance, and the surprising fragility of reputations we once thought untouchable. Every unanswered question adds to the curiosity, making each small move, appearance, or carefully crafted social post feel like a statement in itself. Greg Gutfeld's role shows how influence works in unexpected ways. He didn't just comment, he reframed the story, turning absence into the headline. The result is a cultural moment that continues to ripple through audiences who thought they understood. Robert De Niro,